Hello, my name is Alexander Morari and I'm the founder of ITKeyMedia. You've tuned into our podcast about Central Eastern European startups that are in pre-seed, pre-series A stage, critical stages in the life of every company. Our guest today is Piotr Smoleń, the co-founder of a Warsaw and London-based company called Symmetrical. So let's move on with the podcast round number one, solution.
Okay, so in a nutshell, so what we do is we partner with employers who hire thousands of people or more.
Yeah.
And they really struggle. So think about factories, retailers, all kind of employers having a lot of people and huge rotation. And then what you're struggling with is that how to make those people loyal, how to motivate them, because nothing really works for them. They have just, you're just having a worker. He came today, he will not come tomorrow. Nothing really motivates him, just money. And what we do for those companies is we leverage their very strong position on the market to bring more financial power and more financial comfort for their employees, so that for as long as they work for their employers, they really feel comfortable from the financial point of view. So they stay longer, they work more, and they are more motivated. And how we do this? We deliver the mobile app, which is liberating the salary of the workers. So the workers working for our clients, they don't have to wait until a payday to be paid. They can access money flexibly when they need it. So that's the first thing, but also they can educate. We help them save money, and we do a lot of things helping them just to feel more comfortable from the financial point of view.
What do you mean the employer can pay out money when it's on demand by the employee? I understand. So let's say I have I'm a temporary worker and I have 3-month contract with a retail company. Anyways, my salary is monthly in Europe, and let's say in States weekly or UK, right? What do you mean if I need the money today? Will I get the payout by the company today as well?
Yeah, so technically, Symmetrical reduce the friction to pay people more frequently. So basically, you as an employer, you pay your people once a month, and Symmetrical does the magic. So basically, we integrate with the payroll system of the employer with time and attendance software. We also help to gather data about how many hours you used to work. Then we do the payouts in your name for the employee, and we reconciliate the employer once a month. So from the employee perspective, everything is the same.
So you credit the employer. Yeah. So you credit the employer, right? To make.
Technically, we credit the employer. Yeah. So technically, we give free money or extremely cheap money to people who overpay for most of financial services.
Okay.
And who are not trusted by the financial institutions. And we leverage the credit scoring of the employer to give great terms to the employee. So basically, it's a magic model in which the employer can help employees for nothing, or for the really low cost.
Let's go in this kind of, if not value chain, but let's say this customer chain, so to say, for you, right? So here is the worker. Let's say a floor worker in a shopping center industry itself in crisis, but anyways, and usually these are very rotation driven positions, right? So I'm a shopping mall store worker. I need a payout today for, let's say, 5 days that I have worked on a recent contract. Then I go to the application where my employer is part of the game, I understand, right? And you say you leverage the employer. Let's not be afraid. This is like Inditex, right? Or Zara. And so you leverage Zara's positioning with the next level partners, right? In the whole chain. Who are those next level partners? Banks, I understand?
Yes, we cooperate with the bank. So maybe I will show you the story from the perspective of worker. So if you work for the Zara, basically you have a couple of problems. So first of all, the volatility of earnings. So basically you work on shifts. You earn different amount of money every week. And this volatility is really difficult for you because of many reasons, because the costs, they're not volatile. So if you pay for your rent, you have to pay the same amount of money per month, but your earnings are volatile. So that's the first problem. Second is really difficult to plan. because you don't really know, the shifts change. You don't really know how much money you would make. And then it is like you really struggle with this unpredictability of your cash flows. And basically, when you have our app, you can, on one hand, see in real time how much you made in the app. So every second, every minute, every hour when you work, you can see your earnings this month. And then you can just use our app just to better, to smooth your cash flows. So to better understand, to better manage your cash flows, so you have money when you have to pay for your costs. So basically, it's really helping you just to, reduce the financial stress. And on the other hand, Symmetrical partners with banks. So basically, what we do is we are intermediary between the bank and the employer. We are lending money to the employer and sending payouts in the name of employer to the employee at the time they need it. So basically, we just leverage the data we have and the relationship with the user to make the end user's life easier and better, and also help the employers just to have lower turnover ratio and more satisfied people. So it's like a win-win-win for everyone.
Yep. So the distribution channel is the mobile app on mobile phones. I understand, smartphones, and employees, the workers of those retail and blue collar kind of situations, they can only pay for the services that are present on the marketplace, or can they demand something or request something, and you go into the market and find providers of those services?
No. So basically, right now, what we do is salary on demand.
Only.
So basically, you can see what is your, not only, but this is our first product. So you can see what your salary, you can just pay yourself faster. And what is really important, it is not a credit. You just pay you just borrow from yourself, your future self.
Okay.
So basically, from the mental perspective and emotional perspective, it is much better than lending or borrowing money, because it is your money. You earned it and you can access it. So that's the first thing. Second is, for most of our users, this service is for free. So for most of our users, they have to pay a credit card fees, or they would have to pay overdraft fees or payday loan, the high interest of payday loans. And what they can do with Symmetrical, they can access their money for free. So basically, it's like much better, easier, faster solution to any other alternative for our users.
I see here a little bit of a contradiction. So you're saying this increases financial stability of the workers. I mean, usage using your platform, yes. But then, having in mind the rotation in this type of employment situations, let's say, the moment I get the money, I lose motivation to go to work tomorrow. Why? Because I have another offer, which is, let's say, 5-10% higher than the current employer gives me. Have you seen this in practice as well? This kind of reaction?
In practice, implementation of our solution reduced the turnover from 20 to 38% among the people who are using us. And the reason why it works so is that people really strive for having fulfilling financial well-being, financial comfort. And basically, they switch the job. If they were to switch the job to get 10% more salary, but go back to their very volatile financial life and feeling stressed, they don't know how to pay for rent. They won't go back. So basically, what we believe in is that smoothing your income really helps you to focus on your work, reduce the stress, and be more loyal to your organization. So we believe that not only we believe, the data shows that that it really helps to retain people.
Yep. When I say 20 to 38, almost 40% retention increase or rotation decrease, let's say, right? This is based on how much information, how big is the data set here? How many clients or how many employees? How do you measure this change in rotation?
So as for now, we have over 20 enterprise clients. At the moment, our so the users who use our app, we have like almost 8,000 people using our app. And we have those data points from 20 employers. It is almost a year of operations. And those data points varies industry to industry. So basically, in some industries, it is helping more. In some industries, it is helping less. What we are sure is that the lower savings level is among the workers,
Yeah.
and the bigger the volatility of earnings, the better results. So basically, if you have workers with low level of savings, and there can be like three reasons why you have low level of savings. So basically, you can earn not much, so you don't have money to save. Second, you can have bad financial habits, so
Yep.
you don't save so the money, or you're young and you did not have time to build savings because it's your first job and you don't have savings. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, if you have young workers or lower income workers, this is a solution for you as an employer.
Mm-hmm. On your website, I see you you're only addressing the employer as such. So you transfer this educational role to the employers, right, and to the companies themselves. So I understand you then transfer also a part of sales effort to the employers, right? So your idea to distribute or to expand the product and the companies through employers, and then when they buy your product, I mean, in commerce and without commerce as well, when they buy your product, then it's in their interest to educate their personnel, right? Is this the approach?
Yeah. So basically, we partner with employers to distribute our app to the employees.
Cool.
And I think that our interest is the same. So the employers, they just want to make their employees' life better and help them, and we also help them. So basically, we are incentivized properly just to make this model work.
Yeah. As far as clients, let's expand a little bit. What types of clients? I understand the more employees there are in the company, the better. But then, as far as the industries, what you would say are most promising for the next year, let's say 2021?
Okay, so first of all, gig economy platforms and contingent economy companies, like temporary staffing companies in general. So this is the first case in which the need of people is huge, and very often the operational effort to pay out people is much big because you need to control how many hours everybody worked and do a lot of payouts and so on. So that's the most obvious case. Second, production industry. So a lot of workers outside of big cities, low paid, low level of savings, and so on. And the third is retail. So the chains of supermarkets, employing cashiers and people in logistics. And also, of course, all kind of like delivery and logistics. So if you're a driver, you travel, you need to pay for petrol. It's a great solution for you as well.
Yeah. And can you share a couple of really big target companies as well that you're trying to strike a deal with?
Okay, so basically, not all of the companies we signed gave us permission just to use their brands, but actually
okay.
we work with great brands. But some of our clients already announced that they use us. So among those companies, we have Santander Bank. Among those companies, you have Orlen, which is one of the biggest company in Eastern Europe. And we also have iTaxi, so the biggest taxi driving corporation. And this is just a few. I mean, that's the really, really big brands. They're just onboarding our platform right now. So the next year would be a huge year for us.
Interesting. You mentioned iTaxi. I just made a note about Uber, and not approaching a market, a continent, but just Uber global Uber. Do you think this would be one of those interesting clients for you? Would they be interested in a solution like that?
Yeah. So you need to, from the gig economy perspective, you need to understand how they think about the driver. So basically, Uber is a very fintech-driven organization. They have very big expertise in payments. So I believe that in short term, they can do faster payouts to the employees by themselves. They don't need Symmetrical to help them. On the other hand, there are a lot of international Uber competitors who don't have enough technology capacity or don't want to become financial institutions for the drivers who can work with us to deliver this value to the drivers. So that's the one angle. Second angle is that most of the players like Uber, they work with partners because the regulations in Europe force them to employ people and they don't want to employ people directly. So basically, in Uber case, I would say that Uber case might be really interesting from the partner perspective, because the partners, they don't get infrastructure to pay people frequently. They pay people once a month. So basically, it is like potentially a great value Uber can give to the partners, so they can just bring more drivers and keep them motivated. So in this case, Uber might be our client as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know, they just resolved this case in in California, right? About whether or not Uber drivers are workers or contractors. So that was interesting in this context
Yes,
as
but
well.
Europe is different than US,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
think it will be
yeah.
really tough market for gig economy platforms to win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. By the way, long-term focus for you would be European Union, or as you mentioned in a couple of sources I found, or global ambition is still there.
Yeah, so midterm is European Union for us. In the long term, what we want to build is core infrastructure for next generation salary payouts globally. So basically, in the long term, we build technology that will enable people to be paid differently in this new modern way. So in the long term, we want to be a global business.
Okay, cool. Let's take another case study of a potentially global client, a hotel chain, Accor or similar, Starwood. Would you say this is one of those interesting clients as well?
Yeah. So
one account and just one account and then dozens of thousands people. Of course, maybe now it's they are even in a bigger stress than retail. But anyways, in vaccine we trust.
I agree. So I would say that the hospitality industry in general is a great industry for us, but we don't think about it in the next year to be successful because of the problems they have. But basically, we already work with international corporations.
Okay.
And we are already working on scaling with them country to country. So we believe that it is, our solution is sold to responsible employers who really trust their employees. So basically, we believe that implementing our solution can be a part of this philosophy of managing people, and it would be done by a lot of respectable brands globally. So basically, it's a good use case for us. The big challenge, of course, is that the payroll is hyper-local. So basically, most of the corporations, they don't have centralized payroll. In every country, the payroll is local. So basically, our job to be done for Symmetrical is just to reduce the complexity of payroll internationally and offer like one universal solution for the international organizations, simplifying the issues with payroll across all of the geography. So it would be a bit of a challenge for us, but this is also our goal. So our goal in the long run is just to offer this payroll API and just to simplify the way the organization pay people.
And those issues are basically regular issues for any fintech, right? To go from jurisdiction to jurisdiction and resolve all those, as you say, hyper-local sometimes problems. Sometimes from like in states, from states, you might have different accountancy rules and so on. Okay. As a side note, by the way, Symmetrical.ai, why this name? And it rings a bell with this, even one of the competitors already active in the States. What do you mean by symmetrical?
Okay, so we just launched Symmetrical because we thought that we want to bring financial power to normal people.
Okay.
And what we believed in is that the financial market is asymmetrical, which means that there's a huge difference in access to information, in knowledge, in power between financial institutions and normal people. And the financial institutions, they overuse the power just to force people to overpay for the financial services. So basically, the less you make money, the more you pay for the services. That's crazy. And so we believe that our role for the markets, for the market and for our users is just to equal and or level the game. So just to help the users to leverage their salary as a hidden financial power, just to access cheaper, more ethical, better financial products through our platform. And of course, we start with just real-time salary payouts, but new services are coming. We just want our users to pay less, to feel more financial comfort, to access better financial services. So this is only goal we have, and we share this goal with the employers we work with. And you asked about AI as well. So basically, in the long run, we don't use AI at the moment. We don't need to use it. But in the long run, our vision is to help the users to leverage their data, to be accessed or be matched with the right financial products. And we will be using AI technology, AI stack, just to make it happen.
I mean, come on, if you have global ambition, not using AI or similar buzzwords will not help you. So you mentioned payout on demand is the current product, which I understand is already beyond POC and market product fit. This you've proved already. What's the next in pipeline? Next group of products that you plan to introduce?
Yeah, so we are working. So we are doing a big bet. We are working on savings. We believe that saving money is the next big thing. Okay. We believe that when we talk to our users, what we see is that the biggest problem for our users, the biggest problem with money is that they don't have savings. Mm-hmm. And they don't know how to save. It is really difficult to save. There's a lot of friction in saving money. And right now we are building a lot of new features or solutions that would help people save money in a different way they used to save before. So we just want to help people to really build this, financial cash-in and savings, so they ultimately would not have to use us like the salary on demand too often.
Are you hinting also becoming a bank at some point?
No, we never want to become a bank. Being a bank is the worst thing you can do in the next 10 years to come.
Okay.
So a lot of regulations, and in the end of the day, I would say that being a bank would make your business much more difficult and complex. So we don't want to be a bank. We want to work with banks, partner with banks, just to enable our features to the users.
So an interesting thought popped up in my mind. You are basically providing a solution which is CSR packed in a ESG kind of wrapping, environment, sustainability, governance.
Yeah.
And so your employer-employee kind of CSR relationships are packed in this. And
I would not agree, because actually,
please do.
What we are doing is we are solving huge social problem, but it is still a problem of people. And because of this problem of people, the employers, they also have problem. So basically, we are just helping people, helping organizations. I believe that we have positive impact on the economy and on the society, but still is a business. We're making money on this, and it is not like charity. We will be making money on this, but I believe that we have really fair business model for everyone.
Yeah. So it seems, as far as earning money, what's your business model there? I understand there's some kind of a fee, and who you charge and how much, and what's the earnings by now, more or less, MRR. Are you now close to Series A kind of levels already?
Okay, so I will start with the beginning. So we experimented with pricing a lot, and we had just to figure out what's the best pricing, the more fair pricing for everyone. So right now, what we have is most of our clients, they pay €3 subscription fee per active user per month. And if you're paying this €3 for your employee, they can access their salary for free with some limits. So you just cannot use us too often or use too big amount of money. And then if you do this, you have to pay some fixed fee, like €2 for every transfer. But most of our users, they can use us for free. So that's that. So just the subscription. That's all, as simple as that. I will add to this that once we launch the savings feature, we will automatically put 50% of our subscription into savings account if the users did not use our app. So basically, we just don't want to take money for nothing. So this is our model. And of course, further down the road, there will be more financial services on our platform. Every time it would be cheaper, more ethical, and better for the user, and we'll be making money on the other side of the market. So taking the banks and the fintechs that would like to work with us, they will have to pay a subscription to access the employee base.
Yeah.
So we just don't want to
sure.
become a marketplace. We don't want to become this, because I would say that the problem of the financial marketplaces is that they are brokers. So they take a fee for every transaction and make transacting more expensive for everyone, for the users and banks. So basically our idea is, okay, let's take subscription fee from the employer, let's charge financial institutions with subscription fee, which is like fixed, so that basically we have the right incentives for everyone in the market. And as for the revenues you asked, so this year, because we almost finished the year, so this year we did like 150k euro of revenues. We aim at hitting 1 million euro of ARR by the end of the next year. But I would say that the most important thing for us is not just financials, because what we do is we build exclusive channel with exclusive people who can access us, and we build really strong relationship with the user. So if you think about the Zara worker, index worker, they just log into our app more often than they log into their bank account. We are the center of the financial world for them, because for people with low level of savings, it is not account which is key for their financial situation. It is cash flow. So you think about money in cash flows, not with the state of your account. So basically, what we believe in the long run, that we will become the closest financial advisor to our users they can have, and they will trust us to buy credits, insurance, financial products. And they would do this through us, because we will give them fair terms, best price, and we will help them to make better financial decisions.
Yeah. Piotr, if I move from one employer that has access to your marketplace to another employer that does not have an access to your marketplace, I understand the consequence could be that I am now pressing on my new employer, at least to get to know you, and then maybe to get this as well, right? So this is part of the whole construct as well. This is what you count on that, like self increasing, like effect of scale, right?
So this is the flywheel we are working on right now. So basically, maybe I will tell you like two things. So first of all, we in the next year will be working a lot on building social community within the employers. So we are building features that will give more value to every user, because more users use us within the employer. So we just want to really build this social community within the employer based on Symmetrical.ai. But so that's the first thing. Second, we also want our users to have some very limited access to our app when they finish their work with the employer who is with us. And when they type in their name and the telephone number of the new HR manager, and if luckily the new employer would sign up with us, they will get back all of the financial powers that they used to have in the previous employer. So basically, we want our users to become our sellers in the long run. So that's true.
So moving from an employer to an employer, I retain my credit history and my relationships with the financial partners and so on. Okay, great, amazing.
Yes.
Great. So, Piotr, let's move on to round two, and in a nutshell, to cover your competitors. Okay, who are your competitors, and right away, how you are better?
Okay, so basically, we compete with a lot of players across the world. So meaning that the whole category was created in America, and there you have a lot of players even PayActive, Daily Pay, Branch, and many more. They're quite successful. Then this category was created in the UK. So in the last 3 years, there were a couple of British players attacking the same problem or vertical. So Wavestream has TPay, and Earned. So we have like at least like 3 strong competitors in the UK. And in the last year, there are a lot of new players being created everywhere in Europe. So in most of the countries in Europe, there are like a couple of new players doing the same. But I think that inherently we have totally different philosophy about our product and how we build relationship with the user, because most of our competitors, it is just the payment business. So they just think about, okay, let's give cash advance to people, let's make money on this in the short term. So they're like much more expensive for the users, for the employers. And then they want to become ultimately kind of a neobanks for the blue collar workers. So they want to become Revolut. So they want to give a card, they want to create an account, and so on. And our vision is totally different. We don't want to be a transactional layer for our users. We want to be ultimately financial advisors for our users. We are greedy in the long term, not in the short term. I mean, that in the long term, once we build a marketplace and network effects, we'll make money. And what we do is we put a lot of effort and energy to build really deeper relationship with the user, to really better understand the user, get more data about him so he can use the data in his favor to in the future to access the next financial services. So basically our business is designed to be a marketplace plus financial advisor for the users. And we have the same start, which is like a salary advance feature, a payment feature. But I believe that this business would be zero margin business in the next 5 years. So I believe that nobody would be in the next 5 years, nobody would be making money on this. And I believe that we will win because we are just much more than just this payment infrastructure layer.
So their goal is your tool to reach the goal of the next level.
Exactly.
Interesting. That was quick round and nothing to add. Let's move on. Next round 3, companies' failures and successes by now. What's the biggest failure?
And I think it's on our product level and user level.
Yes.
It is that we just, when we thought about bringing financial power to people and giving them financial comfort, we thought a lot and we decided to do salary advance, so access to money. And for 95% of our users, we're helping them, because if you're responsible, we're helping you. But we have those 5% of people who do not use our app as we want them to use it. So they withdraw very small amounts of money very often. And they are clearly having huge financial problems, and using us might magnify those problems. And so this is the first thing. Second thing, what we realized recently is that the real problem is all about financial habits and savings, not just accessing money. And I believe that we really started to build our solution from the wrong place, because it is not about giving money to people, even if it's cheap money, but it is more about how to help them create better habits. So I truly believe that in the next 6 to 12 months, our product will be the full product will really help people. Right now, I believe that we are just the part of the solution and not the most important part. And I believe that if we had this savings feature faster, if we managed just to help better our users earlier, we will be in different place right now. I think that we will grow much faster, get more clients and so on. Because even for our clients, for potential clients, when we sold the financial well-being vision, they felt dissonance, cognitive dissonance, looking at salary advance, which they thought, okay, it might be risky, it might help, but it might harm my employees. So I believe that we really, and the mistake we did is that we just looked at the competitors, trying to copy paste some best practices from them, instead of listening to our users and clients. And I think that we did this homework this year. We spent like hundreds of hours talking to the users, to the clients. And right now, I believe that we exactly know what to do in the next year.
You said something which stuck in my mind, basically, that you are not just suppliers of money, but also this mentor kind of a financial mentor to the users that are known not to be very financially savvy, so to say, right? So it's like you try to teach your users that money is not the fish, it's just a fishing rod, right? And not to live from paycheck to paycheck, pay slip to pay slip.
Yeah.
That is
This is our
interesting.
ambition.
That is, yeah, amazing, to be honest.
And I would tell you one thing, because for most of the financial institution, the user is constant in time, which means that if you think that somebody is risky, you assess that they will be risky. And the truth is that even from the credit perspective, your risk depends on two factors. One is ability to repay, which can change in time because you can get promotion, you can learn new skills and so on, and the willingness to pay. And for most of the institutions, they don't believe in change. They don't believe that people can learn and can become better themselves. And what we truly believe in, what most of the financial institutions don't believe in, is that we can help people to become better selves, and that we can teach them, that they can leverage us as a first step just to become much better citizens and to be much more trusted by the financial institutions. And I believe that this is a huge arbitrage opportunity, because if you manage to transform bad customers into great customers, is a huge money you can make, but the value you can deliver to them. So basically it's a win-win and win for everyone.
I'm almost exploding with excitement when I think that how big the positive impact is on the families of those workers, that they become more and more financially savvy. And I tend to think that people that make good, reasonable, let's say, or clever financial decisions tend to be socially active, tend to be socially wise, politically active as well, and who would be probably more prone to analyzing not only financial status and their financial position of themselves and their families, but also of the whole situation in their societies, widely understood. So by teaching them to make financial decisions more wisely, you are basically educating a more, a wiser citizens, basically. Because this financial wisdom transfers into practically every domain of life of a grown-up. Great, let's move on.
I totally agree.
I didn't expect our conversation to focus not as much on the solution itself, but on the implications it could have. Interesting. Let's move on.
If it works.
Yes. That's up to you. You have all those sleepless nights and so on ahead of you. Round 4, company. In a nutshell, let's start with the founding team. So there's Piotr and 2 more co-founders, right? I understand. Mention them and then share some insights about labor division in the founding team.
Okay, so basically we are all 3 totally different. So we have like different backgrounds, core skills, and so on, and that makes us strong. So if you words about, so I am a serial entrepreneur, and so sold my previous business 2 years ago. I'm a product guy. I love product, I love sales, I love marketing. I really, really love thinking strategically how just to deliver value to the users. So I would say that I'm more like strategic, sales, marketing oriented. My first co-founder, Daniel, is my friend. We know each other for 15 years. We were the benchmates in high school, then flatmates at the university, and we are like yin and yang. So he's like a totally different in everything. So he had a different career. He spent 6 years in Boston Consulting. Then he joined very fast growing global startup as CTO/COO, and he's a Mr. Fast Execution. So he's a really great guy in organizing people, managing people, moving company forward and achieving the goals. And the funny thing is that we also have one co-founder who joined a little bit later, and he was our first business angel, and it is Maciej Noga. He's a legendary entrepreneur. So he co-founded Pracuj.pl, one of the most successful Polish startup, and he was responsible for marketing and sales in Pracuj for over 10 years, achieving a huge success. And so he's older than us. He has much more experience. He really knows HR people and corporate world very well. So basically, his role in our organization is also strategic. He helped us organize the sales process, marketing process, partnership process as it were for the big organization, not just a startup. And he also gives us a lot of insights on HR people, because I just started to do something in HR 1.5 years ago, and the first half a year was very difficult for me because I totally did not understand the HR people. And he's bringing this corporate HR perspective to our company. So basically, those are three of us, different skills, different responsibilities. But I feel that it is a really good group of founders just to jumpstart this kind of business.
Yeah. Then honestly, do you all exclusively work in this company, or you have some other side projects as well?
Okay, so I personally believe that focus is the most important asset you have.
Okay.
So basically, it's the biggest leverage you can have, and I totally don't believe in diversification. So I am all in Symmetrical. Daniel is all in Symmetrical. Maciek, because of his position, he's still chairman of the supervisory board of Pracuj, and he has a lot of investments. So he has to spend some time just to manage his assets. And I think that his biggest problem is that he's diversified. So he just needed those crazy laser-focused guys as us just to build another big thing. So I think that the more assets you have, the more investments you have, the more you lose your core advantage, which is a focus. So basically, yeah. I don't accept being the focus.
Mm-hmm. But then he brings in at your board meetings and other strategic discussions over coffee or cognac or whatever you drink, he brings in fresh perspective, right, from outside world, so to say, and not being with you on daily basis. Yeah.
And he's with us on daily basis. So he's spending 80% of his time with us. So basically 1 day in a week, just managing different staff, but he's almost focused. And I would not accept him as a co-founder being just a name on the web page or in the press release.
Yeah. And again, your experience makes you think so, and makes you act like that, right? That just business cards don't sell. Okay. And what about the rest of the company? How many people you are, and are you recruiting now?
Okay, so we are 34 people right now.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that we are spread across Europe right now. So we started as a very monolithic company, all of the people in Warsaw or in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we have no limits, no restrictions to hire people because of Corona. So basically we have a new hire in Cologne, Germany. We have people in France, in Spain. So basically we just tap on talent whenever we can find the right people to do the job. And I would say that as for the next 6 months, we don't plan to hire more people. I just want the organization, which grew very fast in the last year, just to better understand each other, just to create this fundament for the further growth. So basically the plan for now is let's grow with the current team. And then when we see that everything is going well, and when we feel that we have the right organizational culture in place, and we really know how to work together, let's scale. I mean, that scaling just in the sake of scaling, it does not make sense.
Last question here. What's the split between tech team and sales and marketing right now in this 30 plus?
Okay, so 6 months ago, we were 20 something and 85% of the engineers.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I was together with Maciek. We were the only salespeople in our company, and also marketing and PR. And right now we expanded, so we hired a couple of like sales and business people. So I would say that it's like 60 to 70% product and IT, and the rest is sales and marketing. And I feel that we'll be keeping this proportion further down the road. So we feel that we want to be company with technology DNA, and we are really product focused company. I think that this also differentiates us from the competitors. Most of our competitors are like 80% of sales and customer success, 20% of technology and product. And we believe that the best products win in the long run. So of course we have to prove that we can sell it, but we are strongly believe that if we can help our users and clients better, we'll win. So we are very product-oriented organization right now.
Okay, Piotr, our last round 5, formula F3, which is funding for the future. But let's start with your funding history by now. Altogether, I understand from public domain information that you are now funded you have received investments of different sorts around 7 million euros. Is that so?
That's true.
So what's and let me just mention the investors that you have in your investor team: Global Founders Capital, Partech, Finch Capital, Market One Capital, Plug and Play, and in different order, these VCs invested in companies like LinkedIn, Slack, Facebook, PayPal, Dropbox, and 2026. Is that so?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the bar is pretty high to get interest of such investors. How did you manage to get into their radars, or did they contact you?
Yeah. So basically, there are a couple of things. So first of all, we just did this growth hack when we started. So we just published the manifesto. So we just published a document that showed what's our vision for the future. And of course, it's not valid. We'll have to prepare a new manifesto after what we learned. But basically, it was interesting enough to go viral, to have like over 1,000 likes everywhere in the world, like Silicon Valley, London, Berlin, and so on, and to bring big attention of investors. So that was the first thing.
Interesting.
Second is that I would say that the place where we are in is super interesting. So if you think about, first of all, financial inclusivity, it's a huge issue. It's a huge social problem. It's a huge global problem right now. We just, everyone tries to solve it, like in fintech somehow. But I believe that it's a big issue because inequality in the economy is growing because of the economic trends. So basically, you need to somehow find a way just to level the game for the people who have like below average salary. So that's the first thing. Second thing is that if you think about payroll, it is so old school. So basically, the way we get salary has not changed in the last 100 years. So basically, once a month, wire transfer or cash, whatever. And I believe that being in payroll, it is also a huge pain. It is also hyper-local as for financial services. But we truly believe that it is the next big thing. So we believe that there's a place to build totally new technology standard and to totally change the way people are paid globally. So basically, if you add to this a huge market and a very old school industry, which is payroll, in which nothing really changed in the last 20 years, you can feel that there might be an opportunity. You don't know where, but you just invest money in these places in which there's a high chance that something might happen. So I think that we were also lucky enough just to be in the right place in the right time. And I would say that another thing is a team. So most of the venture capital fund, they prefer working with serial entrepreneurs. And I don't really understand this, to be really honest. I mean that, of course, after I sold my previous business, I learned a lot. But I would say that it does not protect me from not making mistakes right now. And I'm doing a lot of mistakes all of the time. And I would say that basically the chances to succeed are not like 10% when you start for the first time, but maybe 12%. but still funds think that it is much more. So this is why they invest in serial entrepreneurs. Yeah, so I think so. That's the second thing.
Serial entrepreneurs are interesting and like promising. Why? Because, you know, as they say, systems are not characterized by whether or not they make mistakes. They're characterized by their reaction to mistakes. And so serial entrepreneurs have made and they will make maybe even the same mistakes, but they will know how to react in the right way. Even having in mind like less emotion, more constructive, even if this is a stop loss kind of approach or reaction, you know?
So I would say that what really different. So I feel that I'm an entrepreneur, and all my life I have been an entrepreneur, and I think that the biggest threat I have is one is persistence. I mean that second is optimism, constant optimism. So basically, you can get hit in your face day after day and after day, and you can hear no for 100 times from your potential clients, and you don't give up. And personally, I believe that, okay, I am an entrepreneur, so I don't have alternative. I cannot go to the corporation. I don't want to go to the corporation. So the only thing I have is my persistence and optimism just to move forward. Second thing is, I think that what really, you know, differentiate entrepreneurs or serial entrepreneurs from normal people is that they really listen to the customers. They really try to solve the problem, and usually sooner or later they find a problem that needs to be solved. Yeah. And if you're persistent, optimistic, you will just find the right problem that can be solved. That's all.
This short dialogue we've had so far in this round sounds to me like you are pitching your future investors. What is your goal for the future investment? When? So you mentioned already that your goal is by end of 2021 to have 1 million euro ARR. I understand.
Yeah, so when
do you think you will be ready and mature for Series A? And do you need any external investment with stable cash flow? Yeah.
So as for now, we have a runway for the next 2 years.
Okay.
So if we don't grow our business, but we will grow the business, we can stay afloat for the next 2 years. So we have a lot of comfort. But what I believe in that raising money is all about de-risking of the investors. So that's the first thing. Second is all about the size of the opportunity and finding the right problem that is scalable. And basically what we are doing right now, and you can think about business in like two angles. So one angle is how we can grow whatever you have right now, linearly. Sorry for the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Second is, could you find really huge opportunity which will go much faster? And so right now we are working on like one really promising thing. If it works, we'll be able to raise Series A, I think, in the next quarter.
Say it again. You will be able. Say it again. You will be ready to raise how much?
So basically, like our ambition for the Series A is to raise somewhere between 15 and 20 million euro.
Yeah.
And the only way we can achieve this is if we could prove that the technology we create and the solution we create is 10 times better, and we have a secret sauce. And I would say that everything we are doing right now is just for the linear growth of our business, that the technology we just develop at the same time that can help us to save, to help the same people but different way. I believe that it might be really something big, but we'll see.
And this is now in the making, right? I understand right now, and it's not something we have mentioned during this conversation. Something completely new.
Okay, so maybe I will just give you a hint. So basically, what we are doing right now is we are thinking more about, because Symmetrical today is application. Mm-hmm. And this application works on an assumption that the salary account is owned by the employer, and we can just connect to this account to help people. And this is the current paradigm. And what we are working on right now, just in general, is about creating a technology that will change the paradigm. So basically, our idea is that what if we could make salary account portable? So you can just move it as an employer between the employers. What if you can connect it to your banking app? So basically, you can just be the owner of your salary calculation and salary cash flow, not the employer. And so this is so we are just working on the technology that will enable portability of the salary account from the environment of the enterprise. And we just want the salary account to be controlled by the user so that they can use it just to get everything better. So in the long run, we believe that we can make salary in general faster, more flexible, giving more new powers to the users, and they will control the salary, not the employer. So this is a big vision we are working on. I'm not sure if it could work. The technology is in progress, but we'll see.
It smells to me like distributed ledger of salaries kind of approach.
I would say that the ledger thing is totally important. So basically, right now, the ledger is owned by the employer. And so if you think about open banking, so in open banking, everyone has a ledger with the bank, but thanks to the open banking layer, you can just liberate this ledger and just to manage your ledger. And we just want to do the same. So to create open banking layer, but for payroll, and to create digital ledger for the payroll.
I managed to crack your secret a little bit, and let's stop here, not to divulge too much information, but sapientia sat, enough for the wise ones, right? Piotr, thanks a lot. We could go on forever, and let the sun in your empire not set, just as the one behind yourself right now. Wish all the best. Good luck. Thanks a lot, Piotr. That was great, and we'll be following your success. Maybe just before Series A or just after Series A, we'll have another one to catch up with your successes.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
So Symmetrical, everyone, and the inspirational co-founder, Piotr Smoleń. Symmetrical is basically a rare type of fintech startup that is not targeting to be just a financial tool for its users. Moreover, the company is developing a financial marketplace that is set to become not only a tool for providing financial stability to users, but also by educating those users financially to make them, in the long run, my own opinion, more conscious and responsible citizens. If you have watched this podcast till this very moment, then the only symmetrical reaction you could have is to subscribe and look forward to the next podcast next week. That's all for now. All the best. Bye-bye.